expect the students to greet you on the first few days. They will be, if they stood up, it's already good enough. And then if they ever greeted you, they won't call you teacher, cikgu, sir, or anything. They will just call me, hey, Nigel, Nigel. Like, long lost friend like that. It's a bit of cultural shock, but it's not that bad altogether, right? So after the initial shock and all, I came to like the school that I taught in Malay. They say tak kenal maka tak cinta, correct? Yeah. So teaching was fine. I adapted into the school quite easily, but I realized that during the first year especially, I didn't really enjoy teaching. Partly because I feel very demotivated, because I know that I've tried really hard and yet I don't see the results that I wanted. Students are still not interested in learning English. The grades are still not improving. But the downest moment, I would say, is during when we fellows, we are given this evaluation kind of thing. So it's called a tripod survey. So essentially, it's a survey, it's a questionnaire form given to our students so that they can give feedback on how the teacher is. It's a survey by Teach for All, which supposedly can determine how the performance of a teacher based on the feedback. So I wasn't expecting to perform that badly because all this while I think I was above average. But then I got the result and was really disappointed. I was at below average. So I was figuring out what went wrong. I was really sad and demotivated. And then thankfully, one day, one of the TFM staff, Brian, who's not with us anymore, is one of our data experts. So he said he did an analysis of all our tripod results of our cohort. And then he noticed a trend. He said, he called this trend the Chinese school syndrome, whereby he hypothesized that Chinese students, they are quite ungrateful. So they will take any opportunity that they can to, get back with the teacher for all the bad things that you have done to them. So, yeah, I'm Chinese myself, so I'm not racist. So, yeah, so after hearing it, yeah, I felt better, but to me, it's more like a consolation. But then I had this, towards the end of my first year, I had this epiphany. Suddenly, I realized that, you know what? If life is just like a roller coaster. Yeah, there's ups and downs, but when you are rock bottom already, the only way up is up. The only way forward is up. So I changed my perspective a bit. So I decided to focus on my locus of control, what I can do and what I can change and what I can't change, and I realign my priorities. So the reason why I wanted to join TFM in the first place is I see this as a really amazing idea. You are bringing people from all over the world studying in different university, top students into the school. It's like you are the world, okay, that the students cannot see outside in the school. So why not make full use of it? So I focus more on bringing maximum exposure to my students in the second year. So I started to send my students for competition. So the first competition that I sent my students to was this Lego robotics competition. But it was not easy. See this kit here, it cost about 3,000 over ringgit. So it was quite hard to convince my principal. Invest this 3,000 ringgit for only 3 students. So but I managed to find my way. I talked, and then in the end, the PIDG agreed to sponsor it. So then we went for the competition, and you know what? We came home empty-handed. So my principal told me, this kind of thing, so expensive and cannot win one. Not fun at all. So, okay never mind. I disregarded what she said. I actually told my students, and my students, they find it very funny also. And then, okay, never mind. From now onwards, I decided that I'm gonna only send my students for free competition. Free competition. There you go. No money, no need to ask anything from my principal. So the next competition I sent my students to was this. Okay, the next competition that I sent my students to was this essential student leadership camp, whereby they presented about a project that they will be running in school, so on and so forth. And in this competition, they won third prize. It was quite an achievement. But I told my principal that, yeah, you see, we won third prize already, but I didn't tell her that only 6 schools participated. And then it's open only to EFM schools. But it's okay, right? For students who never participated in competition or let alone win any, this is a huge achievement. So once my students got a taste of victory, they are like addicted already, you know. So they keep on asking for more competition and more competition. So I decided to send them for one big competition. It's called Young Innovate. It's a national level STEM-based innovation and design competition, whereby they have to learn how to use Arduino. It's like a mini computer, how to create project to solve real-life problem. Okay, so it's the first time they are exposed to all this. So they are very excited and all. I managed to fundraise about 3,000 ringgit on the crowdfunding website to fund all their expenses. They went all the way to Penang to compete. And yeah, this time around, they won. So out of 4 teams, 2 teams made it to the finals, and 1 team was the second runner-up. So it's quite a huge achievement for students from kampong school. They always call themselves kampong kids, right? So these are some of the highlights of my fellowship journey. So I hope this simple sharing will inspire you to do more than dream for the kids that you will be, the lives of the kids that you will be touching really soon. Okay, so to end my sharing, this is Westlife. I'm not a fan of Westlife, but I like the song. Actually, it's not even their song. It's they covered someone else's song. It's called Seasons in the Sun, right? The chorus says, we had joy, we had fun, we had season in the sun. So yeah, I think it beautifully summarizes my fellowship experience. All right, so yeah, this fellowship will be an adventure of a lifetime. So make full use of it, okay, so that when you look back, you won't have any regrets. For me, the tiniest regret would be that I wish I had stayed on in school. So because after leaving the school, then I realized that actually these 2 years really meant a lot to me. That is also why right now, as part of my company's operation, we still visit Teach for Malaysia schools, because this is where our heart is, the students that matters the most. So let me end by giving you this analogy. Okay, I'm sure you heard of the story of the coffee beans, the carrot, the egg, and the coffee bean. Have you heard? Yeah. Yes, no? So let me just recap it very quickly. Okay, so these 3 ingredients, okay, when they are subjected, if you put them into boiling water, what happens? For the carrot, before it goes into the water, it's hard and solid. But when it comes out of the boiling water, it becomes soft, right? So after being subjected to all the trials and tribulation, it becomes soft. But the egg, it came before entering the boiling water, it was soft, it's fragile. It has a hard shell, but inside is soft. But after it came out of the boiling water, the inside become hardened, right? But the coffee beans are unique. When they enter into the boiling water, they transform the water and they release they change the environment around them, okay? So throughout your fellowship journey, be like coffee beans, okay? Be coffee beans, change the environment around you, don't let the environment change you, okay? So yeah, if there's one last advice, I remember I had a conversation with PMC like 2 months ago over Skype when he was still in Cambridge. So he asked me before we ended our conversation, he asked me if you could travel back in time, okay, after having gone through the fellowship, if you can travel back in time, what advice would you give yourself before starting the fellowship? Without thinking, straight away I say, and also it's my advice to you, just get on with it, just do it and enjoy yourself. All right, thank you. All right, thank you so
so much, Nigel. Next we'll have Yi. Yi is an alumni from our 2012 cohort. Yi will share a little bit about herself, what her fellowship experience has been like, and what she's currently doing.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Yi. I was a fellow from the first cohort and top cohort. I was teaching in Kemas, Negeri Sembilan, and I was teaching sejarah back then for Form 2 and Form 4 students. Just a brief background. I graduated with a in the Bachelor of Psychology, and I worked in Hey Group. It's a HR consulting firm back then, and I joined this from Malaysia. Currently, I'm with the Ministry of Education. I'm working with the Education Performance and Delivery Unit. So, I think the first slide was about the challenges that we have back when we were in the fellowship. Okay, so I think the font went to chat already. So okay, anyway, so the first thing that I think I want, because the fellowship thing is a 2-year thing, and I think we would like to remind everyone that you are impacting students' life, and it wouldn't be nice if you enter into a student's life and be all nice to them and then you leave them in 2 months' time. So it's a responsibility that you take on. It's a commitment for 2 years. So I was sort of reminded as well to not scare you away yet, but these are the reality check. So I think the first thing I want to highlight is that the job doesn't pay well. You might have friends who goes on to like corporate sectors, who works in other big firms or corporate firms, and they're going to earn way more than you do. So this was one of the difficulty I faced back then, because I was working before already, and I sort of took a pay cut to join Teach Malaysia. So I actually had to refinance my car, and there are other adjustments that I had to make. Like for example, I give my mom money every month, and since I joined Teach Malaysia, I had to cut it down. So it feels a bit like like mom, I'm not going to give you this amount of money anymore. I'm going to give you this amount of money now. So those are the adjustments that we have to make. The second thing that I want to remind you that you don't really know where you're going to be posted yet, so you could be away from your loved ones, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your parents. So this is something that we need to brace ourselves for. Okay, so the third thing that I want to remind is that sometimes we get judged based on our looks. So there's something that I faced in school back then is that people judge you because you're young, people judge you because you are a girl, because you dress differently, and even kids will whistle to you. So these are stuff that I would say that be prepared for, and I would say that to choose your battle. Like what are the stuff that you want to fight for, and what are the stuff that probably you just suffer for a while. And so this is something that I faced back then when I first joined school. I think we always see those posters with cute kids who wants to learn, and you feel all lovey and you want to help them. But you go into school and you realize that maybe 10% of them are cute and the rest are just really monsters. So I've had really terrible classrooms. I've entered into the classroom where students just completely disregard you. They just run around the classroom as if this sort of authority figure doesn't exist there. And it really hits your confidence because you are there trying to teach and they're just completely defiant, running. They're just really running the classroom, literally. So I think it's something that kids might not realize yet, that importance of education, and they don't want to be in schools. They are not like begging for your help to come teach me. They are not. So it's something that you need to work even harder to inspire them to teach, to learn in the first place. So this is one of my kids in one of the back classes. So this kid today is going to show up with sunglasses. So there are stuff like this that you just need to brace yourself for. And so the boy on the right, that's Hafizi. So I think one of the things that often said in the fellows is that there will be a lot of people that will slip through. I was teaching sejarah back then, so I have 8 classes. 8 classes I would have like about 300 something kids that I see on a weekly basis. So there are bound to be a lot of kids that you sort of know that they're in trouble, but you don't really have time or that capacity to look after everyone and be all like, I'm going to go to your house, I'm going to see your parents and stuff like that. You really don't have time for everyone. So I don't have advice for you. I don't know. I think you just have to talk to yourself about stuff like this. You don't have the ability to help every single student. And then I think the session is about what keeps me going. So the good thing about CFM is a shared mission. We have so many of you here together, And even in schools, you have your collabs. So I was in Burmese with 2 other fellows who's teaching in the same schools. And fellows like Michael and Edward, they have definitely seen me at my worst time. I will wake up in the morning, I will just cry. And they will just look at me and I don't think they really know what to do. They just look at me and like try to be like, it's okay, take the day off and stuff like that. But there will be horrible days like that. So, but the good thing is that you have friends who's doing the same thing. You have your collabs, you have everyone here, and then you have your coach, your coach in the school, and your coach from PFM. So you have a support system. So you won't be so alone in this journey. Okay, so we also have collabs. So this is my other collab, Abel, who's working really hard. So you have each other to inspire you. So you look at, say, Abel, if you notice there's a bunch of issues in front of him, he was really sick at the time and he was still like, marking students' papers. So if you see someone else who's working so hard, I mean, I'm going to suck it up and I'll be as hard as the work as hard as well. So I think stuff that keeps us going is small successes and like small things that you see in classrooms. For example, these are my kids in Form 1. So I organized the inter-class drama competition at the time. And something that sort of hit me a bit was that because I had the so I meet all the kids participating. So we had I think 4 classes from once, and I was fortunate enough to teach 3 of those 4 classes. So I sort of have power to make everyone's going to go on this class competition, and everyone must participate. So and then you have kids who are so my last class. The trend you always see in classroom is that your last class of kids are always the poorest kids. Really, they are the economic wise the most disadvantaged. They are from broken families. There's really always a trend. They're even always in smaller sizes, like as if they don't get enough nutrients. Seriously. So so in my last class of students, I think that effort wise they were really good in it, but the kids didn't know that the mic has a button that you need to turn on. So the drama was half mute the whole time. So it's something that I was like, oh, I thought everyone know that mic has a button that it turns on. But so it reminds me, if you don't do things like this, it's kids who often don't perform very well academically. They would otherwise don't have the chance to go on the stage and hold a mic. So it's something that I think that something that we fight for, not only academic results, not only literacy, but also just stuff, giving them opportunities to go on the stage. So there are stuff that I think, so these are me trying to have students to do group activities, and probably just to as a reality check as well, that stuff like this costs money. I mean, color people cost money, the schools might not have money for this, and this stuff takes time. Cutting and piecing some of this stuff take time, and you need to be ready for this. That you're not going to get a clerk to do this for you. So the effort that you need to put in there. But I would say that it's rewarding. I mean, if you have time to do stuff like this and put effort to plan for this, you can see that kids they are engaged in it, because otherwise they'll just sit in classroom and just keep copying notes and not notes. And that's simply not enjoyable to them. So I also tried, because I teach sejarah, and sejarah is actually just really, really boring. So so I tried to make kids to do more fun stuff, like to translate those stuff that they learn in sejarah into comics instead. So this is them putting up like this account for like Sultan Alumni Shah. And there will be rewarding moments when you see say this bunch of kids came to our house just to do homework. Like, I mean, there are times where we would rather have our evenings undisturbed and maybe have our sanggoring and stuff like that. But if kids come to you and wanting to learn, you can't really turn them down. But these are, I think, rewarding moments for us. So part of the effort we did back then was that myself and Abel, we tried to create a space for students to read and do homework, because we realized that when we do home visits to students' home, because they are not allowed to leave families, and their house don't even have like dining tables, so it would be like just floors and like TV and like beds. So we realized that people don't actually have space to do homework. Even they would be like get up on the floor and write stuff. So this is something that we try to do and have like slots after school hours for students to come and just read or do work or whatever they want in the space. Then there are some elements of like students working with each other. Okay, so the experience of the fellowship has changed. Not really changed. I think has taught me some stuff. So I think one thing is that just now when we have an activity just now where we asked whether we feel like we get a quality education, and most of us say that yes, we did receive a quality education back then in our time. And I went to rather decent schools as well. So I didn't know that. So I was a class teacher for Form 4 students. The last class of Form 4s, these kids are like 17 years old already, and they can't even write alphabets. So I was shocked. Like I expect you go through 10 years of education and you should be able to write G at least, but you can't. So I think sometimes when you live in KL or like Klang Valley, you don't realize that in other corners of the country there are people who really need help, but they are totally buried by all the numbers. If you look at numbers, our country is really high, so they are buried under those numbers and you don't see them. It's actually my students wrote this. It actually means that from today onwards, I'm going to learn my PM properly, because or else I wouldn't be able to attend all the classes. Because teachers will ask me to get out of the class. Because a lot of so this was written by Chinese kids who can't understand PM. So when you can't understand PM, you basically don't understand anything that was taught in school, in SNK schools. So as a result, you're often defined because you can't understand anyway, so you won't pay attention, and you will be like a bad student, and teachers sometimes ask you to get out of classrooms. So this is something that I think to me was something that we have to help we have to do something about it. Okay, so this is one of the stuff that I think my personal learning is that marriage and parenting is really, really, really important. So because you see so many kids, we have PIPG meetings where you have parents who come and you see the parents behaving like the kids. They are as monstrous as the kids. So then you realize that kids are just copying role models in their life. So to the extent that I sometimes tell my friends I'm going to be a dictator, and when I become a dictator, you need to have license to keep bird, because it's a responsibility. You can't just keep bird and not parent them properly. So this is something that it's my personal learning. And then so this is something that I want to remind everyone as well, that changes doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't end with you even completing the fellowship. Something that you need to do all the time, and you can't do this behind say keyboards and just like scolding the government and stuff like that. You can't criticize the government without trying to do something about it. So something that all of us have to shoulder that responsibility. So these are my kids sleeping in the classrooms. Well, so this is me trying to tell you as well that kids are not that cute, but you need to like work hard for the not cute kids. Okay, a bit about what I'm doing right now. I'm currently with the Education Performance and Delivery Unit. It is a half private, half government agencies unit to help to deliver the Malaysian education blueprint. So part of the projects I'm currently working on is that I try to, in my capability, to coach the district officers to do simple stuff like root cause analysis, planning, and how to execute properly and tracking those stuff. One of the projects that we are currently doing as well is English, creating a richer English environment in schools. Okay, so there's two things I want to deal with. I think one is choose your battle. I think sometimes I often get remarks like how you dress and how you speak and how you carry yourself, and I could have fight back and say that like for example, you can actually wear business suit in schools. That's allowed as long as it will be properly covered. But sometimes certain communities they are not open to that. So my personal view is that choose your battle. Like what is important to you and what is not important to someone. I think the second thing is that sometimes when you are in that environment and you see everyone doing the same thing, you are sort of psyched into doing exactly the same thing. Like you're going to conform to the same thing. Everyone is so scared and not works up to certain authority party, and you just shut up as well. So something that I would say is to not limit yourself to just copy what everyone else is doing, and choose a good shoe. So I'll end you with that. Thank you.
All right, so I think with that, I hope that all of you have learned a lot from Nigel and Nini about their experiences, and hope that you get a good glimpse of what a fellowship could be like for some of you. Feel free to speak to Nini, Nigel, and many other alumni who are here today after this as well. So before we go ahead and mark out, I'll just like to invite my colleague Kenny to deliver a short closing remark for today.
Hi guys. It's okay. Firstly, thank you so much for your attention. Thank you so much for making the decision and also being here. And I think we had a great session with the parents earlier, a lot of really great questions. And I think a lot of you here today, I think you've had a lot of questions answered, but you probably still will have a few questions to ask. And the journey is really beginning, right? And I think it's a really important journey. And honestly, we actually only invited like 2 alumni, but we have like 10 of them here. Because everybody likes TFM, so just coming back to you. So you can speak to any one of them. There's Sun Sang here, there's Andrew, there's Wai Kong, Yin Yi, there's Chu King, Nigel, and as well as myself, as well as any one of the staff. I think there's Kok Hin behind there in the room there. So, you know, we have alumni that have gone to various different areas, working consulting, working all sorts of areas, and also always reflecting back on the experience that we had in how the fellowship gave us an opportunity to make an impact, but also develop us, right? And so I think with that, I just want to thank you all for this briefing. Thank you all for your attention during this briefing. And we're actually going to break for food. So don't head off yet. I think go and get some food, hang around this area, and we'll have a lot of the staff and fellows just coming around to see how you're doing. For any of the fellows that have documentation things that you want to ask questions about, please feel free to go there. So the last thing I want to say is that as Teach for Malaysia, we are building a movement of leaders, but the word movement is really important, that it's not just about the fellows. And that's why we invite parents, we invite stakeholders, we invite the government, the private sectors, because we feel that to solve education in Malaysia or to really improve it, it needs everyone here. It is everyone's responsibility. And I'm really, really glad that there's so many of you here. And also parents that are, you know, gonna support you along your journey as well. So with that, thank you all so much on behalf of the team for being here, and we shall eat. So with that, food is served over there. We have rice, curry chicken, kueh, and stuff like that. So thank you guys. You can slowly make your way maybe by sections with your family members.